Life often feels like a whirlwind. Between the demands of work, relationships, and endless distractions, it can be hard to find moments of peace. But within this chaos lies an opportunity for transformation. Through ancient Buddhist teachings, we are offered a pathway to inner calm and resilience, a way to navigate life's complexities with grace and wisdom. These teachings are not reserved for monasteries or remote retreats. They are timeless tools that can enrich our modern lives, no matter where we are. At the heart of this philosophy lies a profound truth. Everything changes. This principle, known as impermanence, is both a challenge and a gift. From the moment we are born until the day we take our last breath, change is a constant. Seasons shift, relationships evolve, and even our own thoughts and emotions ebb and flow. At first glance, this might seem unsettling. After all, we crave stability and certainty. We cling to routines, possessions, and people, hoping they will anchor us in a world that feels unpredictable. But the Buddhist perspective invites us to see impermanence not as a source of fear, but as a doorway to freedom. Understanding impermanence begins with observing it in our daily lives. Think of the sunrise, a moment of breathtaking beauty that lasts only a few minutes before giving way to daylight. Or consider the joy of a child's laughter, fleeting yet unforgettable. These moments remind us that life's treasures are precious precisely because they are temporary. By embracing this truth, we learn to savor the present without clinging to it, allowing us to experience joy without fear of loss. Embracing impermanence also helps us navigate challenges with resilience. When faced with difficult times, a breakup, a job loss, or the loss of a loved one, it is natural to feel overwhelmed. But impermanence reminds us that no state, however painful, lasts forever. Just as winter gives way to spring, our struggles will eventually transform into new opportunities and growth. By holding this perspective, we can find solace in the midst of hardship, trusting in life's capacity for renewal. One way to cultivate an appreciation for impermanence is through mindfulness. By being fully present in each moment, we become attuned to the ever-changing nature of our experiences. Imagine walking through a forest, noticing how the leaves rustle in the wind, how sunlight filters through the branches, and how the air carries the scent of earth and pine. Each sensation is unique to that moment, never to be repeated exactly the same way. This awareness deepens our connection to life, fostering gratitude and wonder. The principle of non-attachment builds upon this foundation. While impermanence teaches us to accept change, non-attachment invites us to release our grip on the things we cannot control. This doesn't mean we stop caring about people or goals. Rather, it means we stop clinging to them as sources of our happiness or identity. Non-attachment is about finding freedom within ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. Consider the example of a person who has worked tirelessly to achieve a promotion. While their dedication is commendable, their happiness becomes fragile if it depends solely on attaining that title. If the promotion doesn't come, disappointment can spiral into despair. But by practicing non-attachment, they can find satisfaction in the effort itself, the skills they've developed, the relationships they've built, and the lessons they've learned. This mindset allows them to pursue their goals with passion while maintaining inner peace, regardless of the outcome. Non-attachment also enriches our relationships. It encourages us to love freely without trying to possess or control others. Imagine a parent who supports their child's dreams without imposing their own expectations. By letting go of attachment to specific outcomes, they create space for the child to grow into their authentic self, strengthening their bond in the process. Meditation is a powerful practice for cultivating non-attachment. Sitting in stillness, we observe our thoughts and emotions as they arise and pass away, like clouds drifting across the sky. This practice reveals the transient nature of our inner world, helping us let go of the need to cling or resist. Over time, we develop a sense of equanimity, a calm, balanced state of mind that remains steady amidst life's fluctuations. The middle way complements these principles by advocating for balance and moderation. This approach teaches us to avoid extremes, whether of indulgence or deprivation, and to find harmony in our actions and decisions. The middle way is not about compromise but about wisdom, recognizing what truly serves our well-being and letting go of what is not. For example, consider someone who is driven by a desire for success. On one extreme, they might sacrifice their health and relationships in pursuit of their goals, leading to burnout and loneliness. On the other, they might avoid challenges altogether, fearing failure and discomfort. The middle way encourages them to strive for their aspirations while also prioritizing self-care and connection. By finding this balance, they can achieve sustainable success and fulfillment. Practicing the middle way requires mindfulness and self-awareness. It invites us to reflect on our habits and choices, asking whether they align with our values and contribute to our overall harmony. For instance, if you find yourself working late every night, consider whether this pattern is enhancing or detracting from your well-being. Small adjustments, like setting boundaries around work hours or dedicating time to hobbies, can restore balance and enrich your life. Compassion is another cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy, extending the teachings of impermanence, non-attachment, and balance into our relationships with others. Compassion involves recognizing the suffering of others and responding with kindness and empathy. It is not about pity but about connection, seeing ourselves in others and acting from a place of shared humanity. Imagine encountering a coworker who seems irritable and withdrawn. Instead of reacting with frustration, compassion invites you to consider what challenges they might be facing. Perhaps they're dealing with personal struggles or feeling overwhelmed by work. By offering a kind word or simply listening without judgment, you create a space for understanding and support. This act of compassion not only eases their burden, but also deepens your connection, fostering a sense of belonging and trust. Compassion also extends to ourselves. Just as we offer kindness to others, we must learn to treat ourselves with the same care and understanding. Self-compassion allows us to acknowledge our struggles without judgment, offering ourselves patience and encouragement as we navigate life's challenges. This practice is especially important when we face setbacks or make mistakes. Instead of dwelling on self-criticism, self-compassion reminds us that imperfection is part of being human and that growth comes from embracing, rather than denying, our vulnerabilities. If these insights resonate with you, I encourage you to join our community at Buddhism in Modern Life. By subscribing to our channel, you'll gain access to practical tools and guided practices that help bring these principles into your everyday life. Together, we can explore how ancient wisdom can illuminate the path to modern resilience and fulfillment. As we transition to the next part of our journey, we'll dive deeper into the practical applications of these teachings. From mindful breathing to acts of kindness, we'll explore how small, intentional practices can transform our experience of the world. The journey continues, and each step brings us closer to a life of greater peace, clarity, and connection. As we continue this exploration of Buddhist teachings, it's time to delve deeper into practical applications of these principles in our daily lives. It's one thing to understand concepts like impermanence, non-attachment, and compassion intellectually, but the real transformation comes when we embody them in our thoughts, actions, and relationships. This section focuses on how small, intentional practices can turn ancient wisdom into a source of strength and peace in our modern world. Mindfulness is a powerful starting point. In its essence, mindfulness is the act of bringing our full attention to the present moment, free from judgment or distraction. It's not just about meditating on a cushion. Mindfulness can be woven into every aspect of our lives. Take something as simple as drinking a cup of tea. Instead of mindlessly sipping while scrolling through your phone, you could slow down and fully experience the warmth of the cup, the aroma of the tea leaves, and the flavors dancing on your tongue. This practice, though small, grounds you in the now, creating a moment of peace amidst a busy day. Mindfulness also transforms how we handle stress and challenges. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, feeling frustration build as you inch forward. Instead of letting this irritation take over, mindfulness offers a different approach. By taking a deep breath and focusing on the sensation of the steering wheel in your hands, or the rhythm of your breath, you create space between the situation and your reaction. This simple shift not only calms your mind, but also helps you respond with greater patience and clarity. Another practical application is loving kindness meditation, a practice that nurtures compassion for ourselves and others. It involves silently repeating phrases like, "May I be happy," "May I be healthy," "May I be free from suffering," and then extending these wishes to loved ones, acquaintances, and even those we find difficult. This meditation softens the barriers between us and others, fostering a sense of connection and empathy. Imagine someone who has had a conflict with a coworker. By including that person in their loving kindness meditation, they might find their resentment giving way to understanding, creating an opening for reconciliation. Acts of kindness further embody the principle of compassion. These don't have to be grand gestures. Even small actions, like holding the door for someone or offering a kind word, can have a profound impact. Consider the ripple effect of such acts. A single moment of kindness can brighten someone's day, which might inspire them to pass that kindness on to others. This chain reaction illustrates how small, intentional acts contribute to a more compassionate world. The principle of non-attachment finds practical expression in how we approach goals and relationships. It's natural to have desires and aspirations, but problems arise when we cling to them as the sole sources of our happiness. For example, someone preparing for an important job interview might feel anxious, fearing that their entire future hinges on the outcome. By practicing non-attachment, they can shift their focus to the effort itself, preparing thoroughly, presenting their best self, and trusting the process. This mindset not only reduces anxiety, but also allows them to bounce back more easily if the outcome isn't as expected. Similarly, non-attachment enhances our relationships by encouraging us to love without possessiveness. Imagine a parent who wants the best for their child. Instead of imposing their own expectations, they create space for the child to explore their interests and make their own choices. This approach not only strengthens the parent-child bond, but also fosters the child's independence and confidence. Gratitude is another transformative practice that aligns with these teachings. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, gratitude shifts our perspective to one of abundance and contentment. A simple way to cultivate this habit is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each evening, jot down 3 things you're thankful for, big or small. Over time, this practice trains your mind to notice the positive, even in challenging situations. For instance, someone facing financial difficulties might still find gratitude in the support of friends or the beauty of a sunset. This shift in focus doesn't deny the difficulty of their situation, but reminds them of the resources and joys that remain. Balancing work and personal life is another area where these principles shine. In our pursuit of success, it's easy to neglect our well-being or relationships. The middle way offers guidance here, encouraging us to avoid extremes and seek harmony. Consider someone who's been working long hours, sacrificing time with their family. By reflecting on what truly matters, they might decide to set boundaries around their work hours, dedicating evenings to their loved ones. This shift doesn't mean abandoning ambition. Rather, it's about creating a sustainable rhythm that supports both professional and personal fulfillment. Mindfulness can also transform mundane tasks into moments of presence and peace. Washing dishes, for example, might seem like a chore, but when approached mindfully, it becomes an opportunity to connect with the present moment. Feel the warmth of the water, notice the texture of the soap bubbles, and appreciate the act of creating cleanliness. These small shifts turn ordinary routines into acts of meditation, enriching your daily life. Another practical aspect is cultivating acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean complacency. It's about acknowledging reality as it is, without resistance or denial. Imagine receiving unexpected news, like a health diagnosis or a sudden change in plans. While it's natural to feel upset, acceptance helps us move through these emotions without getting stuck. By facing the situation with openness, we can better understand what actions to take and how to adapt. This perspective transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. Meditation serves as a cornerstone for many of these practices, offering a dedicated space to cultivate mindfulness, non-attachment, and acceptance. Even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the present. Over time, This practice strengthens your ability to stay centered amidst life's uncertainties. If these ideas resonate with you, I invite you to join our community at Buddhism in Modern Life. By subscribing to our channel, you'll find guided meditations, practical tips, and inspiring stories to support your journey. Together, we can explore how ancient wisdom can enrich our modern lives, creating a ripple effect of peace and resilience. As we transition to the next section, we'll explore how these practices deepen our connection to ourselves and others. From self-compassion to vulnerability, we'll uncover how embracing our shared humanity transforms our relationships and nurtures a sense of belonging. The journey continues, offering new opportunities to grow and thrive. As we continue this exploration, the focus now shifts to how Buddhist principles help deepen our connection to both ourselves and others. At the heart of this journey lies the practice of self-compassion and the willingness to embrace vulnerability. These elements not only nurture our inner world, but also transform the way we engage with the people around us, creating a sense of belonging and shared humanity. Self-compassion begins with the recognition that, like everyone else, we are imperfect and deserving of kindness. Too often, we hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, berating ourselves for every perceived flaw or failure. But self-compassion invites us to meet these moments with gentleness instead of judgment. Imagine making a mistake at work, perhaps missing an important deadline or misunderstanding instructions. The initial instinct might be to spiral into self-criticism, labeling yourself as incompetent or failing. But self-compassion offers a different narrative. It reminds you to pause and acknowledge the difficulty of the moment. You might say to yourself, "This is hard, and it's okay to feel upset. Mistakes are part of being human." This shift in perspective softens the inner dialogue, creating space for learning and growth. One powerful way to cultivate self-compassion is through reflective practices such as journaling. Taking a few minutes each day to write about your thoughts and emotions can help you process your experiences and identify areas where you may be too hard on yourself. For instance, you might reflect on a challenging conversation and notice how you've taken on more blame than necessary. Writing down a compassionate response to yourself, such as, "I did my best in that situation, and it's okay that it didn't go perfectly," can reinforce a kinder, more balanced perspective. Another transformative aspect of self-compassion is its ability to foster resilience. Life inevitably brings challenges and setbacks, but when we treat ourselves with care and understanding, we build the strength to face these difficulties without becoming overwhelmed. Consider someone who experiences rejection, whether from a job application, a creative project, or a relationship. Instead of internalizing the rejection as a reflection of their worth, self-compassion encourages them to see it as a natural part of life. By nurturing themselves through the disappointment, they can regain their confidence and continue moving forward. Closely tied to self-compassion is the practice of embracing vulnerability. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it is a profound source of connection and courage. It involves opening ourselves up to uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure, allowing us to be seen as we truly are. Imagine sharing a deeply personal story with a friend or admitting a mistake to a colleague. These moments of vulnerability might feel uncomfortable, but they also create opportunities for trust and intimacy. By allowing ourselves to be seen, we invite others to do the same, strengthening the bonds that unite us. In relationships, vulnerability fosters authenticity and deeper understanding. Consider a couple navigating a disagreement. Instead of retreating into defensiveness or blame, they choose to express their true feelings and fears. One partner might say, "When you didn't call, I felt unimportant." The other might respond, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize how that affected you. I was caught up in work and didn't communicate well." This exchange, grounded in honesty and empathy, not only resolves the conflict but also strengthens the relationship. Vulnerability also plays a vital role in building communities. When individuals come together and share their stories, struggles, and hopes, they create spaces of belonging and support. Think of a group therapy session or a community gathering where people are encouraged to speak openly. These environments remind us that we are not alone in our experiences, fostering solidarity and compassion. Compassion for others is an extension of self-compassion. Just as we learn to treat ourselves with kindness, we are better equipped to offer that kindness to those around us. This practice begins with simple acts of empathy, listening without interrupting, offering help without expectation, or simply being present with someone who is struggling. Imagine a coworker who seems unusually quiet and withdrawn. Instead of assuming they are uninterested or unfriendly, you might approach them with curiosity and care, asking if everything is okay. This small gesture of compassion can make a significant difference, creating a sense of connection and support. The ripple effects of compassion extend far beyond individual interactions. When practiced collectively, compassion has the power to transform communities and even societies. Consider initiatives that provide support to marginalized groups or efforts to address environmental challenges. These actions, rooted in empathy and a recognition of our shared humanity, demonstrate how compassion can inspire meaningful change on a larger scale. Mindfulness enhances both self-compassion and compassion for others by helping us stay present and attuned to our inner and outer worlds. In moments of conflict or stress, mindfulness creates a pause that allows us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, if a friend's comment triggers a defensive reaction, mindfulness helps us step back and reflect, why did that comment bother me? Is there something deeper I'm feeling? This awareness not only diffuses tension, but also opens the door to a more constructive and empathetic conversation. Gratitude is another practice that deepens our connections. By focusing on the positive aspects of our relationships and experiences, we cultivate appreciation and joy. A simple way to integrate gratitude into your life is through a daily reflection. Each evening, think of 3 things you are grateful for. Perhaps a kind word from a friend, a moment of laughter, or even the opportunity to rest. This practice shifts your perspective, helping you see the abundance of kindness and beauty that surrounds you. These practices, self-compassion, vulnerability, mindfulness, and gratitude, create a foundation for stronger, more authentic relationships. They remind us that connection begins with our willingness to show up fully, both for ourselves and for others. As we nurture these qualities within, we contribute to a world where empathy and understanding are the norm rather than the exception. If these reflections resonate with you, I invite you to join our community at Buddhism in Modern Life. By subscribing to our channel, you'll gain access to insights and practices that support your journey of self-discovery and connection. Together, we can explore how these timeless teachings transform not only our lives, but also the world we share. As we move into the final section, we will explore how these practices come together to create a life of balance, purpose, and harmony. By integrating these teachings, we can cultivate a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment, both within ourselves and in our relationships. The journey continues, offering new opportunities to grow, connect, and thrive. As we reach the final chapter of this journey, it's time to bring together the practices and principles we have explored and see how they create a life of balance, purpose, and harmony. Each teaching, from mindfulness to compassion, gratitude to vulnerability, is like a piece of a puzzle that, when combined, reveals a complete and fulfilling picture of how to navigate life's complexities with grace and authenticity. Balance is a central theme in Buddhist philosophy and one that resonates deeply in our modern lives. It's about finding harmony between our responsibilities and our well-being, between ambition and contentment, and between self-care and care for others. Achieving balance doesn't mean avoiding challenges or living without ambition. It means approaching life with a sense of moderation and intentionality. For instance, consider someone who is passionate about their career but also values family time. Instead of allowing work to consume every moment, they set boundaries, dedicating specific hours to their job and reserving evenings for their loved ones. This balance not only nurtures their relationships but also prevents burnout, allowing them to show up fully in both areas of their life. Balance also involves recognizing the seasons of our lives and adapting accordingly. There will be times when work demands more of our attention, and times when personal matters take precedence. By accepting this ebb and flow, we cultivate flexibility and reduce the stress of trying to maintain a perfect equilibrium at all times. Imagine a new parent who temporarily steps back from career ambitions to focus on their child. This choice reflects an understanding that life is dynamic, and true balance is about aligning our actions with our priorities in each moment. Purpose is another cornerstone of a fulfilling life. Living with purpose means aligning our actions with our values and aspirations, creating a sense of meaning that sustains us through life's ups and downs. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It can be found in small, everyday acts that reflect what matters most to us. For one person, purpose might mean dedicating themselves to environmental conservation. For another, it could mean being a loving and present parent. What unites these examples is the intention behind the actions, the commitment to living in a way that feels authentic and meaningful. To uncover our purpose, reflection is key. Taking time to ask ourselves questions like, what brings me joy? What challenges inspire me to grow? And how can I contribute to the well-being of others? Helps us clarify our values and priorities. For instance, someone who loves teaching might discover their purpose in mentoring others, whether through a formal role or informal acts of guidance and support. Purpose is not about external validation. It's about living in alignment with who we truly are. Gratitude and acceptance further enrich this sense of purpose. Gratitude reminds us to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, cultivating a sense of contentment that sustains us even in challenging times. Acceptance, meanwhile, helps us navigate setbacks and uncertainties with resilience. By embracing reality as it is, rather than resisting it, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and open the door to growth and transformation. Imagine someone facing a significant career setback, such as losing a job. While the initial reaction might be disappointment or frustration, gratitude and acceptance offer a way forward. Gratitude helps them recognize the support of friends and family or the skills and experiences they've gained along the way. Acceptance allows them to face the situation with clarity, exploring new opportunities without being weighed down by regret or self-blame. Together, these practices transform a difficult experience into a stepping stone for personal and professional growth. Harmony, the final piece of the puzzle, is the natural outcome of integrating these practices into our lives. Harmony is not about avoiding conflict or achieving perfection. It's about creating a sense of coherence and flow in how we live and relate to others. It's the feeling of being at peace with ourselves, even as we navigate the inevitable challenges and uncertainties of life. Harmony begins within. When we cultivate mindfulness, self-compassion, and gratitude, we create an inner environment that supports peace and resilience. This inner harmony then radiates outward, influencing how we interact with others and contribute to the world. For example, a person who practices mindfulness and self-compassion is more likely to approach conflicts with empathy and patience, fostering healthier and more constructive relationships. On a broader scale, harmony extends to how we engage with our communities and the world around us. Acts of kindness, efforts to reduce harm, and contributions to collective well-being all reflect a commitment to harmony. Imagine a neighborhood initiative where residents come together to create a community garden. This project not only beautifies the area, but also strengthens connections among neighbors, creating a sense of shared purpose and mutual support. Such acts demonstrate how individual efforts, rooted in mindfulness and compassion, can ripple outward to create positive change. As we integrate these practices into our lives, it's important to remember that this journey is ongoing. There will be moments of clarity and moments of struggle, times when balance feels effortless and times when it feels elusive. The key is to approach each step with curiosity and kindness, trusting that every effort contributes to our growth and well-being. If these reflections have resonated with you, I invite you to join our community at Buddhism in Modern Life. By subscribing to our channel, you'll find resources and inspiration to support your journey, from guided meditations to practical tips for integrating these teachings into your daily life. Together, we can explore how ancient wisdom illuminates the path to a modern life of balance and harmony. As we conclude this journey, let us carry forward the intention to live with mindfulness, compassion, and gratitude. Let us embrace the challenges and joys of life with an open heart, finding meaning and connection in every moment. The path is not about reaching a final destination, but about walking it with awareness and purpose, creating a life that reflects the best of who we are and what we aspire to be. The journey continues, and the possibilities are endless.